Our next story is from Hong Kong. Last week, it suffered a major fire tragedy, the city's worst in almost 8 decades. A massive fire tore through a high-rise apartment complex. Within minutes, 7 towers were engulfed in the blaze. Hundreds of residents ran to save their lives, but many could not make it. As of today, the death toll stands at 151. That's what the police have confirmed. 151 lives lost. More than 40 people are still missing. And recovery crews say that some bodies have turned to ash. The fire has shocked the city, indeed the whole world. It has left families grieving and asking, how did it happen? How did the fire spread so fast? Why were safety warnings ignored? Why did renovation material fail? And who is responsible for this disaster? The people of Hong Kong are asking these questions, and in doing so, they're putting themselves at grave risk. Because their city is controlled by China, and in China, grief is treated as suspicion. Questions are treated as sedition, and demands for accountability are seen as a threat to the state. Look at what happened in the aftermath of this fire. A student stood outside a train station. He was not shouting, he was not blocking roads, he was not being violent, he was simply handing out flyers. And these flyers asked 4 basic questions, or for 4 basic things: a fair probe, a check on construction failures, resettlement for survivors, and accountability from officials. It's not too much to ask, is it? This petition got 10,000 signatures in less than a day, but by the next day it was gone. The petition was gone and the student was detained. Do you know for what? He was detained for sedition. Believe it or not, asking for accountability after a fire tragedy is sedition in China. And he wasn't the only one who faced this action. 2 more people were detained on the same charge, sedition. A city that has lost more than 150 people to a fire tragedy cannot even ask why. And to make it worse, then came the warning from Beijing. China's national security authorities have issued a statement. They warned people against using the disaster to, quote-unquote, disrupt the city. Here's what they've said.
We sternly warn the anti-China disruptors who attempt to disrupt Hong Kong through disaster. No matter what methods you use, you will certainly be held accountable and strictly punished.
Let that sink in. 151 people killed. And the response is not about fixing safety failures. The response is a warning. Don't ask questions, because if you do, you'll be labeled an anti-China disruptor. I guess that's what makes this tragedy worse, because now it's not just about the deadly fire, it's about the system that silences questions. And it's not like the authorities have not taken action. They have. They've arrested 13 people in this case. These are people linked to the renovation work on the buildings. Officials say substandard material fueled the flames. So they've arrested people, but here's what they don't want. They don't want people discussing the system that allowed this. They don't want the public talking about negligence. They do not want people who say that this tragedy could have been avoided, because in China, the system cannot be questioned, the party cannot be criticized, and anyone who tries faces arrest under national security laws. As shocking as it is not new. China has spent years building a culture of silence. It watches its citizens through cameras and apps. It censors their posts in seconds. It tracks dissent online. It flags what it calls sensitive language automatically. It punishes people for comments that would be normal anywhere else. And the people know this, so they stay quiet. They stay careful. They avoid saying anything that might offend the state. Because one sentence can change a life in China. And here's the deeper pattern. Beijing pours enormous money into policing, surveillance, and censorship. It treats internal control as seriously as it treats national defense. In 2020, China's internal security spending hit $210 billion. $210 billion. That was more than their defense budget for the same year. So more money spent on managing the people at home than on defense. This year too, China has increased its public safety budget. That's what they call it. Xi Jinping is spending more and more to watch his people, but he refuses to create space to listen to them. So even in death, you cannot grieve or demand accountability. Because in Xi's China, control always comes before the citizen.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.